The stroke of a pen, the government abandoned their responsibilities to my people. Our reservation was sold off, families were displaced, sacred places destroyed, and poverty and despair followed. For nearly 30 years, our people fought against this erasure, and in 1986, when I was 4 years old, the Klamath Indian Tribes Restoration Act reestablished our political status. That moment was not only a restoration of rights, it was a testament to the resilience and determination of my people. But my people's story is not unique. The Klamath are the only ones are not the only ones who know what it means to lose their homelands, to see families scattered, sacred places destroyed, and sovereignty denied. Our story echoes in the lives of other indigenous peoples from across this country and around the world. Today, the same story is unfolding before our eyes in Palestine. The Palestinian people, like my own, have been forced off of their ancestral lands. They have seen their homes demolished, families displaced, cultural and sacred spaces desecrated, and generations pushed into poverty and despair by policies of erasure. When I speak of my mother growing up under the weight of termination, I also think of Palestinian children growing up under occupation. When I speak of sacred rivers and meadows sold off, I also see olive groves uprooted and neighborhoods razed. The parallels are undeniable. And just as my people endured, so do the Palestinian people endure. Their resilience is a testament to their humanity, their spirit, and their refusal to disappear. But resilience should not be the only answer to injustice. My people were left to suffer largely alone. The world looked away. This must not be the story of Palestine. Here in Oregon, we are fortunate to have leaders who are willing to stand up. Senator Jeff Merkley has taken principled action to defend Palestinian rights. And I thank him for that courage. I wish that someone had had that courage when my people were under attack. The recent ceasefire is just a step towards peace, but it is not enough. We must not mistake a pause in violence for justice. As politically engaged Oregonians, elected officials, and community leaders, you hold power, and with that power comes responsibility. I'm asking you to stand up where so many failed to stand up for the Klamath people. Do not repeat the mistakes of the past. Here is what we must demand from our national leadership: an end to the U.S. military aid that fuels violence against Palestinian civilians, a commitment to protecting humanitarian aid and corridors, ensuring food, water, and medical care reach those in need, real accountability for violation of human rights and international law, regardless of who commits them, and a genuine commitment to a future where both Palestinians and Israelis can live in safety, dignity, and self-determination. The suffering of my people is carved into the history of this land. Let it serve as a warning and as a charge. We cannot undo the mistakes that left the Klamath abandoned, but we can refuse to look away now. We can stand up for justice, for human dignity, and for this Palestinian people. Subkacha, thank you.
There might be an issue with this. I feel like Tobias Reed up here right now. Okay, we're your vice chairs. I'm Eileen Kiley from here at Sun River.
I'm Kim Schmidt from Matters.
Welcome to our side of the mountains. It is possible to come over here without skiing, biking, or stand-up paddle. But in any case, we would like to take a moment to thank a very special group of people.
Our donors.
So if you are a member of one of these groups, please raise your hand when I mention your group. First of all, President's Council. Capital Circle. Yes! And Grassroots Democrats. We got a lot of them here, so let's see this in. Thank you all. You've given us the basic support that we need to build our campaigns and to win.
Now I want to sincerely thank the sponsors of this event. If you can please hold your applause till the end of the list. You won't, but I would ask you to, all right? So, Premier, we have U.S. Senator Ron Wyden and IBEW Local 48. Platinum is a Western States Regional Council of Carpenters, NGP Van, OF NHP, SEIU Local 49, UFCW Local 555, New Sun Energy, King Estate Winery, Morelli. Under gold, we have U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley, Governor Tina Kotek, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, Vale Hoyle, Congresswoman Andrea Salinas, Congresswoman Maxine Dexter, Secretary of State Tobias Reed, Attorney General Dan Rayfield, Treasurer Elizabeth Steiner, Blue States PAC, Oregon State Building and Construction Trades Council, Future PAC, Oregon Education Association, PAC West Lobby Group, SDLF. Silver, we have Senate President Rob Wagner, State Senator Kate Ebert, Iron Workers District Council of the Pacific Northwest, Teamsters Joint Council number 37, Act Blue, Bottle Lightning Collective, Bright Blue Inc., Empirical Media, Oregon Coalition for an Environmental Rights Amendment, OPAD Consulting, Pasadore Properties, Stone's Phones, Bronze. You guys, by the way, this is the best you've ever been. These guys. House Majority Leader Ben Bauman, Barnett Strategies, C&E Systems, Oregon Manufactured Housing Association, the Pivot Group, Winning Connections.
Okay.
By the way, please send you for not wearing a frog costume.
Oh, Candy wouldn't let me wear a frog costume. I'm really disappointed about that. Anyway, I need glasses for this one. Okay, we are honored to have with us this weekend, here are all our great guests, Texas House Minority Leader Jean Wu, North Carolina Democratic Party Chair Anderson Clayton, who is the only state party chair in the country younger than our chair, Nathan and many more special guests who will be speaking throughout the weekend on our meals and our panels. Additionally, we are honored to have Governor Tina Kotek, our congressional leaders, statewide elected officials, and legislative leaders here throughout the weekend. If you are a candidate for elected office, Nick, that's you, or an elected official, please raise your hand now so we can give them a good cheer. And we thank you, good Democrats, for stepping up to support our communities.
We would also like to give a special thank you to our workshop speakers who have traveled from across the state and country to provide us with innovative ideas for the future of our party and our state. Thank you. This event would not be possible without you. And finally, we also want to thank our volunteers for donating their time this weekend. Thanks to them. You can recognize them by their purple name tags. Fantastic. You may also see press here this weekend with noticeable bright pink name badges. Now, we would like to welcome back to the stage our friend, Chair Nathan Schultz.
Now it is my honor to introduce our governor. I know that I don't need to tell this crowd how incredible our governor is, but it never hurts to have a reminder. From day one, Governor Kotek has been dead set on delivering for Oregonians. Right off the bat, she declared a state of emergency on homelessness to get our unhoused neighbors off the street and into homes. Under her leadership, we have thousands of new shelter beds and affordable housing units and established more opportunities for resources to get folks back on track and keep families in housing. The governor has doubled down on mental health care supports and addiction services, working across the aisle to invest in care and especially supporting Oregon's youth who are struggling with addiction. She is tackling climate change and building resilience for extreme weather, making sure that Oregon remains focused on environmental recovery while working with our neighbors and tribal partners. She is investing in our kids. Just this legislative session prioritizing early literacy and summer learning programs, increasing access to affordable childcare. And of course, in the face of a viciously anti-woman, anti-choice federal administration, Governor Kotek has kept Oregon 2 steps ahead, securing long-term supplies for medication abortion, and expanding protections for medical providers and patient privacy to keep Oregon the state with the strongest reproductive health care protections of the nation. Most recently, Governor Kotek has been making national headlines through no choice of her own, and I'm sure she would not have chosen this attention. And that's because while Oregon is not the war zone that Donald Trump and his GOP say it is, they want to turn it into one. And Governor Kotek has been at the front lines of the fight to keep Oregon moving forward and not letting them make a political stunt out of our state and its people. It is a privilege to consider the governor and her brilliant First Lady friends, and we are fortunate as Oregonians to have them in Mahoning Hall. Please join me in welcoming our governor, Tina Kotek.
Much. That was an amazing welcome. Thank you, Nathan, for the intro. Well, good evening, everyone. Also want to make a shout out. I know Nathan mentioned, but First Lady of the state of Oregon is here tonight. We take great pleasure in being, same-sex couple at Mahoning Hall, making everybody nervous. It's a real pleasure to be here tonight back in Sun River for the summit. Thank you, Oregon Democrats, for everything you do every single day to make Oregon what it is. A beautiful place where everybody has an opportunity to get ahead, and a place that is thinking progressively about our future. You all help make that happen. Thank you for all you do. So last year, 2024, you all helped here in Oregon make sure we had a successful election year. Despite the national headwinds that have been hard to deal with, we won here in Oregon because Democrats did what you do best. You all knocked on doors. You all talked to voters where they are. You made it clear what was at stake. And because of your hard work, we won a lot of races in 2024.
And you inspired a whole lot of people, a whole lot of young people in particular, to get out and stand up for what matters. Reproductive rights, climate action, reproductive rights in all ways, shapes, and forms, transgender rights, LGBTQ rights, standing up for our immigrant community. You were all working. We elected Democrats in 3 statewide races. We made sure the House and Senate had supermajorities. And we did our part here in Oregon by flipping a seat from red to blue by electing Janelle Bynum. I know a lot of people in this room do this just because they love it, but let's never lose sight of the fact that when we win elections, when you all do the hard work, you're making a difference for every Oregon. Because as I said, elections matter. When you do that, we help everybody here in our state. And it is hard work. I talk to other governors and they're like, oh, you know, Oregon's all blue all the time. Okay? We work hard here. We work hard because it's important. You work hard because of what you believe in. And Democrats are about saying yes to solutions to make things better. Am I right? It's about improving the lives of our working families, of our children, of our seniors, of our immigrant communities, of all those diverse communities across our state that make Oregon incredibly special. And you're all doing that. And I'm so proud to be your governor, to help you do that, but we wouldn't be here without you, and so I just want to say thank you for everything you do. Because together we're going to take on, and we have taken on, significant challenges, and we're making progress because we're sticking together. When we win, it's because we have stuck together. We win because we work hard together. And I know this is, and the summit is always about everybody coming together, but it's good to be together. It's good to be in community together to just remember what we all believe in. I want to say, as your governor, we've made some progress, and Nathan did a great job of talking about some of that, but I just want to talk just briefly about those priorities that I brought into the office when I started a couple years ago. Our focus here in the state on housing and making sure our unsheltered neighbors get into housing is front and center every single day for my administration. Every day. We have to build more housing. We have to help people get into housing, help people get off the street. And because we've worked together, we have rehoused 5,500 households, supported over 6,000 new shelter beds, and prevented nearly 26,000 families from becoming homeless in the process. But we're not done. We have more work to do, and I know, staying the course of what we've been doing, we will continue to make more progress for everyone in Oregon when it comes to housing and homelessness. When it comes to healthcare, as Nathan mentioned, we have not stood still in our belief in reproductive health access. We still have a really good supply of mifepristone, so nobody can take that away from us. We should make sure people have access to it. But it's also standing up for the healthcare that we have built here. 97% of Oregonians have access to health insurance. And we are not going to let the Trump administration, that big bad bill, take that away from us. So we're going to work hard to make sure we can keep people covered and make sure that those Medicaid cuts don't hurt people, right? One of the things that I hear about when I'm traveling, and I think a lot of you have heard as well, is how hard it is for a lot of folks to make ends meet. The cost of living is up, and we're all working hard to make a difference there. It's been great to work with the legislature and be able to sign bills that help cut the cost of utilities, that take medical debt off your credit report, that make sure that those things that make it hard for people to make ends meet, we're doing something about that here in the state of Oregon, and that is because we care and we want things to be different for people. So thank you. And I have stood shoulder to shoulder with our labor unions and our workers, because that is who we are as Democrats, and frankly, that's who we are as Oregonians. Because we have together increased protections for warehouse workers. We have made sure that when you are on strike, you have access for unemployment insurance benefits. And we can't forget that we have to continue to stand up for our children. Because right now, there's a lot coming at them still. So the focus on education, supporting our educators to make sure they have the skills they need to teach literacy, to make sure children can have access to summer learning programs summer after summer after summer. And it's been really great to hear the benefit in our classrooms by banning cell phones during the school day so students can focus on their work. And then we have all been working to fight for Portland. I want to talk a little bit about Portland tonight because Portland is on the rebound. We are seeing businesses growing. We are seeing more folks being able to move from the streets into shelter. And we're making sure that more mental health and addiction care is available for the folks who need it. Work's not done, but there is work to do. But when you think about Portland and our largest city, I see hope. I see power. I see people really trying to make something work in our biggest city. But as you know, it's been in the news a little lately. Portland is, you know, when I talk to the president, and he says to me, well, have you seen the videos? I'm like, it's not 2020, Mr. President. It's 2025. I didn't think that I would take this job a few years ago, thinking that I would have to defend Oregon against being invaded by military forces organized by our federal government against our states. But when that moment came, we were ready, and we have stood together, and we will continue to stand together against military. I'm really proud of Oregon, and I'm proud of Portlanders. Portlanders continue to speak truth to power, and they are doing it in a unique and authentic and awesome way. And we are showing the nation how it is to love your democracy and to resist the Trump administration. Because Oregon is one big family for me. We can be tough on ourselves like we are tough on our family members, and we know that we have challenges, but we take them on, we work on them, we solve problems together. We don't look away when something is wrong, we try to fix it. But you know how when you get to say things about your family, it's okay, but when someone else says something about the family, that's not okay, right? You don't get to say bad stuff about Oregon, you don't get to say bad things about Portland. We are sticking together because when our neighbors are under attack, we show up. And when our democracy is tested, we stand up. Because that's who we are. And while I am honored to be your governor, this is a team sport. So I want to talk about the rest of the team that I just have been so proud to be working with, because there is no daylight between any of us. A minute after the election, we all sat down and said we need to work together just like we would as good Oregonians together. Standing side by side with Attorney General Dan Rayfield. And Portland Mayor Pete Wilson. I don't know if Mayor Wilson is here yet, but the three of us standing together in the courts. We're winning. We're going to continue to fight hard to win because the rule of law has to hold out here. And I want to thank our Secretary of State, Tobias Reed, who when the Trump administration comes calling and says, give us your voter rolls for all that personal information, Secretary of State says no. So many leaders are working together in alignment, day in and day out. I could not be more proud of being part of that team, and that is why we're winning, because we are working together. to rise up and say no to that bait that federal administration is putting out there to say, take the bait, get mad. We can get mad, but we're going to do it in a way that we can stand up lawfully and peacefully protest to protect our country, to protect our state, to protect our city, and all the leaders working together. I want to thank you right now. We got to keep doing that day after day after day after day, because we got to be in this fight for a while. And we got to keep working together. It is really amazing that the constitutional crisis that we are currently in this country, that our basic freedoms and our safety is imperiled by an overreach of presidential authority that none of us could have imagined. We have to fight back. I know you get that. But we can never normalize what is happening right now. Never. We do not need troops in our streets. We can handle our own local law enforcement issues and do it in a way where people can have free speech rights and we can protect our communities. So let's never lose sight of that. So I just want you to know, I'm here for all of you. Amy and I are willing to keep working hard for our state because we know we are in this with all of you. And that is so very important to us, so that the future can be what we want to build and what we want to have. Because that is why we do all this. And you don't get to hang out with cool people. But we do this because we're focused on making a difference in the lives of Oregonians. We're ready to take on the toughest challenges together. And we will continue to lead our country against Trump's abuse of power. So thank you for being Oregonians. Thank you for being who you are every single day. And so I just want to make sure, I want one question. Are you with me in this? Are you ready to fight? Thank you for who you are, what you do. Thank you for allowing me to be your governor. And let's go and fight back and wage the station together.
Thank you so much, Governor, for your words. Thank you all for being here with us this weekend. All of you are the cornerstone of our Big Ten party. Breakfast starts promptly at 8 a.m. at the Homestead Building, just across the pathway. You don't want to miss it. We'll have Secretary of State Tobias Reed, Treasurer Elizabeth Steiner, Labor Commissioner Christina Stevenson, David Douglas School Board Member Jose Camara-Jorgensen. We know that some of you will be attending or hosting unofficial, emphasis on unofficial, hospitality suite events. You can find flyers of hospitality suites outside on a table while you're registration. So once again, we start at 8 a.m. tomorrow in the Homestead Building. And please remember your lanyards. Do as I say, not as I do. I feel bad volunteer asked for mine and I did not have an office. So please wear it at all times to avoid any sort of issues. But that is it for us tonight. Democrats are free to mingle. Good night, Shabbat Shalom, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow.